In 2025, Japan quietly became the world's second-largest operator of F-35 aircraft, ordering 147 stealth jets, more than China, South Korea, or Russia combined. For a nation once bound by pacifism, this is an unprecedented military pivot, now legal under rewritten security laws. What forced Japan to abandon 70 years of restraint? And why does this fleet threaten to reshape Asia's strategic map in ways few outside Tokyo grasp? Japan's order of 147 F-35 aircraft stands out not just for its scale, but for the precision behind its composition. Procurement planners in Tokyo have committed to 105 F-35, a conventional takeoff and landing jets, designed for air superiority and deep strike from established runways. Alongside them, 42 F-35B short takeoff and vertical landing variants will operate from smaller airfields, and crucially, from Japan's converted Izumo-class ships. This mix gives Japan flexibility across the archipelago and into the wider Pacific, supporting both rapid response and sustained operations. No other country outside the United States has matched this commitment. Japan's total surpasses the combined F-35 fleets of South Korea and Australia and dwarfs the numbers fielded by European allies like the UK or Italy. In regional terms, the contrast is even sharper. China, despite its vast air force, deploys no F-35 aircraft. Its frontline J-20 fighters number just over 200, and they lack the same level of stealth integration. South Korea's 60 F-35A aircraft represent a fraction of Japan's planned force, while North Korea's air fleet relies on decades-old fighters with no stealth capability at all. On paper, 147 jets represent a strategic scale force, enough to sustain multiple combat air patrols over contested areas, rotate squadrons for readiness, and absorb attrition if conflict erupts. For Japanese defense planners, this is not a symbolic upgrade. It is a deliberate move to place the self-defense forces among the world's elite air powers, with a fleet designed for both deterrence and, if necessary, decisive action. For decades after World War II, Japan's constitution imposed strict limits on the use of military force. Article 9, written under Allied occupation, renounced war as a sovereign right and banned the maintenance of traditional armed forces. The self-defense forces, established in 1954, operated under a doctrine of exclusive self-defense, with every procurement and deployment scrutinized for compliance with pacifist principles. But as threats from China and North Korea intensified, the political calculus began to shift. In 2014, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's cabinet reinterpreted Article 9, allowing Japan to exercise collective self-defense in limited scenarios to aid allies like the United States if attacked. That reinterpretation was formalized by a package of security bills in 2015 and passed the Diet after marathon debates and mass protests in central Tokyo. Despite fierce opposition from left-leaning parties and constitutional scholars, the ruling Liberal Democratic Party leveraged its majority to secure passage. The new laws authorized the self-defense forces to operate alongside allies beyond Japan's borders, participate in international peacekeeping, and respond to attacks on partners in the region. This legal foundation enabled a new generation of defense planning. The 2018 Midterm Defense Program, approved by the National Security Council and the Diet, cited the most severe security environment since World War II and justified a dramatic expansion of capabilities. For the first time, Japan could openly pursue platforms suited for both defense and regional projection, including carrier-capable aircraft and long-range strike systems. The F-35 procurement, once constrained by legal ambiguity, now rested on a clear mandate. Policy architects like Abe, defense chiefs, and Liberal Democratic Party strategists framed these moves as essential for national survival, setting aside decades of self-imposed restraint in the face of new realities. Inside the operations center at Nutabaru Air Base, technical officers monitor a live feed of airspace stretching from southern Kyushu to the East China Sea. What sets Japan's F-35 fleet apart is not only stealth, but the way its sensors and onboard computers convert each aircraft into a digital spearhead. Onboard fusion engines process radar, infrared, and electronic signals in real time, combining them into a single tactical picture. Pilots receive alerts and targeting data before enemy radars even register their presence. Conventional fighters might be tracked by Chinese early warning systems at ranges of 250 kilometers or more, giving defenders 10 to 15 minutes to react. For an F-35, that window shrinks to 50 or 60 kilometers, sometimes less, cutting available response time to just a few minutes. Even China's best ground and ship-based radars are forced to rely on last-minute detection, often too late to launch interceptors or missiles before F-35s reach weapons release range. This compression reduces warning time and changes the basic calculus of interception. This compression of warning time is not theoretical. Japanese avionics specialists trained on sensor fusion protocols can direct rapid surveillance and strike missions against missile threats, especially from North Korea. The F-35's networked systems link with Aegis destroyers and land-based batteries, relaying target data across the self-defense forces. In practice, a missile launch or hostile incursion can be detected, tracked, and countered in a fraction of the time required by legacy jets. The digital backbone of the F-35 fleet transforms Japan's response loop from minutes to seconds, redefining what it means to control the tempo of modern air combat. Japan's decision to convert the Izumo-class ships into light carriers represents a fundamental change in how its navy can operate across contested waters. The process began with JS Izumo receiving a heat-resistant flight deck in 2021, and conversion work is scheduled through 2027. JS Kaga, the sister ship, is undergoing similar modifications, including a redesigned bow and expanded hangar space. These upgrades enable both vessels to launch and recover F-35B short takeoff and vertical landing jets, aircraft that can operate from sea or austere island bases, far from traditional airfields. Naval planners in Tokyo have embraced a doctrine of dispersed basing, positioning these carriers and their squadrons to move quickly between Japan's southern islands and the wider East China Sea. This mobility allows the Maritime Self-Defense Force to project air power deep into regions where fixed runways might be vulnerable to missile attack or sabotage. With the F-35B's ability to take off in short distances and land vertically, Japan can now maintain persistent patrols, reinforce remote garrisons, or respond rapidly to crises near the Senkaku Islands or the Miyako Strait. For the first time since World War II, Japanese naval aviation can operate beyond coastal waters, with carrier-based jets providing coverage and deterrence across key maritime flashpoints. This shift places advanced air assets closer to potential conflict zones, complicating the calculations of any adversary seeking to dominate the East China Sea. The Izumo conversions, backed by operational planners and a new generation of carrier-qualified crews, have quietly extended Japan's reach in ways that fixed land bases never could. Inside China's Air Defense Command, senior PLA strategists now face a problem they cannot ignore. The arrival of Japan's F-35 fleet compresses the decision window for detecting and countering incoming threats. Against conventional fighters, early warning radars can track targets at distances of 250 to 300 kilometers, giving air defense crews 10 to 15 minutes to coordinate a response. But when a low observable jet like the F-35 approaches, that detection range shrinks by 5 to 6 times. In many scenarios, Chinese radar operators may not get a reliable track until the aircraft is within 50 or even 40 kilometers, sometimes less. At combat speeds, this slashes reaction time to just 3 or 4 minutes before the F-35 reaches weapons release range. This shift is not just a technical challenge, it forces a fundamental rethink in PLA campaign planning, especially around Taiwan and the East China Sea. Chinese analysts acknowledge that stealth aircraft erode the engagement envelope of their surface-to-air missiles and fighter interceptors, pushing the burden onto dense sensor networks and forward-deployed patrols. Even then, the risk remains that Japanese F-35s can strike key targets or slip through defensive gaps before a coherent response is possible. For Beijing, every sortie flown by a stealth jet raises the cost and complexity of coercion, demanding new investments in low-frequency radars and passive detection systems, and making any operation near Japan or Taiwan a far riskier gamble than before. Inside the alliance headquarters, US and Japanese commanders reviewed data streams from recent joint exercises. F-35s, designed for seamless information sharing, now link with American and allied forces through secure digital channels. While public records stop short of confirming full interoperability, defense planners on both sides describe a new level of operational intimacy. In drills like Keen Sword, Japanese and US squadrons rehearse coordinated strikes and rapid threat assessments, relying on shared logistics and synchronized planning. The arrival of the F-35 has also restructured Japan's defense industry. 1.7 trillion yen in investment supports local assembly at Mitsubishi's Nagoya facility, creating jobs and anchoring advanced maintenance at home. Industry executives see this as a foundation for future sixth-generation fighter development, while budget debates in the Diet highlight both the economic stakes and the pressure to control costs. Regional analysts warn that such moves can fuel arms competition, but alliance architects counter that networked deterrence is the surest path to stability. As Japan integrates deeper into Indo-Pacific security frameworks, the ripple effects extend far beyond the cockpit, reshaping supply chains, defense markets, and the logic of regional power. Today, Japan's F-35 fleet is more than deterrence. It is a signal that Asia's military balance is no longer fixed. As regional rivalries sharpen and alliances evolve, every deployment redraws the boundaries of power. In this new era, stability is not guaranteed. It must be actively secured.